What's happening, everybody? This is Brent from the band Shinedown, and this is Shinedown's Week Takeover right here on Pirate Rock.
What about grades and stuff? Did you do good in school?
I had to work at it, but I did okay. By the time I got to high school, I wasn't really paying attention anymore to school. I was just ready to get out of there. So the interesting thing about that was I didn't have enough credits to actually graduate my senior year, and I was in a bad situation because it was like, they're going to hold me back. I'm going to have to be here next year. And one of the classes I had was actually a horticulture class.
What is that?
That's like plants, the study of plants. And the instructor, he actually knew what I wanted to do, and he had talked to me about it because he always saw me in the library, like looking up things in relationship to music or artists or biographies. So long story short, I needed I think it was like you had to have at least, I think it was 130 credits to graduate, and I had like 20. So
wow, where were you in class?
I wasn't there, but he passed me anyway.
He did?
He did, because I asked him, I was like, I remember I went to him after school when finals were going down, because I knew it would not have even mattered if I'd have made an A on that final for his class. I still wouldn't have had enough. And I just told him, I said, listen, I've got to get out of here.
Yeah.
And he basically just said, okay, well, if I somehow you miraculously get 130 points, you better make it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I remember him telling me that, like, that was the thing. He was like, you got to promise me you're going to make it. And I said, I can't promise that, but I will promise you I will go to the ends of the earth and I will try as hard as I possibly can until I do. So he passed me.
He did?
Yeah.
That is so cool. Have you talked to him afterwards?
I haven't. I've been, it's interesting. His name was Mr. Mackey, and everybody called him Mac. And I haven't. It's interesting. I thought about him last year for a second. I know he still works at the high school, so maybe I'll go over there one day.
That would be so cool, though.
We'll see. It might happen.
Let's go to Shinedown. So, how did you guys end up to be Shinedown?
It's actually kind of Shakespearean in a way. How it all happened. I'm gonna give you the condensed version because this entire interview could be that.
Yeah.
Like how Shinedown happened. I got signed to a band. I'm originally from Knoxville, Tennessee. I was signed to a band from Atlantic. The band was allowed to do rehearsals, write some demos, what have you. Long story short, after 9 months, they dropped the band. So I had to make a decision of whether I was going to go to New York or I was going to go to Los Angeles. Literally, like 2 days before I was getting ready to get in my car and go to L.A., I got a phone call from Steve Robertson. Steve Robertson is my A&R, and he has been for 20 years. He called me back because he signed the band I was in. And he said, you got a minute to talk? And I was like, man, I'm getting ready to leave and I'm trying to get stuff together and, I don't have a lot of time. And he said, okay, I understand. I want to sign you again. And I said, excuse me? Because I didn't understand what he meant because I was, in a band.
Yeah.
And he said, I don't want your band, I want you.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't know how to take that. He said, I want to do what's called an artist development deal. And what that is exactly what it sounds like. He believed that I was a singer, a strong singer. He believed more in the fact that he had a gut feeling that I was a songwriter.
Yeah.
And thus, I had to make an extremely difficult decision, but I chose to take the deal and try again. And that led me to Florida with him. And the inception of the band was formed in 2001 in Jacksonville, Florida. And it was kind of by audition, these different people and what have you. and it was early enough too with the writing process of everything as well, because it basically, from the time I got the second deal, Shinedown's first record came out 3.5 years later. So it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
But that was the dynamic too with Steve, with me, and he really taught me, because all I wanted to do was play and get on the road and do all these things like that, and he was like, we gotta write a lot of songs to figure out which ones are right.
Yeah.
And he put me in front of so many people and so many songwriters all over the United States.
Yeah.
And it was just, I look back at those 3 years and it was just a crash course, and like, you know, so many different creative people and so many different outlets and just a plethora of knowledge. And then in 2003, Leave a Whisper was released. And then we went on to a lot of, you know, naysayers when the album came out, like, this band's not gonna do anything.
How does that feel though when you get rejected?
Once again, fuel that fire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What did happen was this. So like a lot of media outlets, like we got a first record, and I was like, we're gonna be on Rolling Stone, we're gonna be on MTV, we're gonna do all this stuff, and we're gonna Guitar World and everything. We could not get arrested to get an interview. Like literally, we could hold up a bank and probably not get any press. And so. And it was just like nobody wanted to talk to us. They just
It's so sad.
They did not care.
Oh my God.
You know? But there was an interesting thing that happened. The people that did care was radio. We started in these markets, and like I said, we couldn't get any media. But the media that we did get was, I look back at it, and it was the beginning of just an amazing friendship between Shinedown and radio media all over the world. Like, we champion radio from all walks of life, every corner of the earth.
Yeah.
And because they supported us, because they liked the music.
Yeah.
And it also, when they put it in, we were a new band, but their audience, like, they were getting, like, phones were lighting up. They were like, who is that? Who was that? First single was Fly from the Inside. And then with that album in particular, what happened was the cover of Simple Man happened. And that all happened in a very unique way. But we were able to re-release the record.
Yeah.
Because we were on the song 45. We'd already gone to the second single, but then the interesting thing with Simple Man was that wasn't planned. That just kind of happened.
Okay.
It happened at a radio station actually in Boston.
How
It happened because we were on tour with Three Doors Down. We were in Boston at a station called WAAF, and they wanted the bands that were coming in that week to do, you know, acoustic, 2 of your songs, and then a cover.
Okay.
So I was going to, we were going to do a different cover, and for whatever reason, a couple of weeks prior to that, I had learned Simple Man.
Because that is a great song.
It is a great song. So the DJ, her name's Mistress Carey. She's really famous in Boston. She was like, all right, those are the 2 songs from China. She's like, play your cover. Well, what we were going to play was Stone Temple Pilots, The Suit That You Wear. And that's what we had like worked up for it and everything. And we got to like the chorus, but like,
didn't work out.
Yeah, the original guitar player, Jason, he couldn't remember the chords. And it was just turning into a dumpster fire. You know?
My God.
And so we did know how to play Simple Man. I remember Brad, the original bass player, he said, play Simple Man, do that. I'm going to hurry this story up because we'll be here forever. So we did it off the cuff, never like performing it at all. This was at the time when the internet was more about message boards and things like that, and a website.
Yeah.
Well, they had just gotten this audio server at the station where they could, you know, at the time, that was early days of streaming, you know, but they recorded us doing, you know, the 2 songs of our own, and then they recorded that. So we leave, and 6 months later, we find out, not 6 months, 6 weeks later.
Yeah.
we got a message that, yo, the Boston station just sent over these insane numbers on the songs that you guys did when you went up and did that interview with them in Boston. The interesting thing is that the Simple Man cover that you did has been listened to 500,000 times.
Oh my God.
And so automatically the record label was like, ding, 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 like, you know. So, and so what happened was we re-released the record, and we went to Sanford, Florida, real quick. I cut it in 2 takes, and the rest is history with that. And then that album, with all the naysayers and what have you, went on to be platinum, and about two and a half weeks ago it just went double platinum.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Congrats.
And, thank you. And then you go into Us and Them, and then all kinds of chaos happened during that time. And that was a very interesting album cycle. But what happened was, at the end of that, for the second album, Us and Them, we did a massive, massive touring schedule on that, because Leave a Whisper had been a surprise success to certain people. Not to us. We always believed in it.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was a platinum record. So the label, they weren't rushing us per se, but it was like, there's a big statement in the industry where it's like, when you have a successful first album, it's like, you'll get your whole life to do your first record. You're going to get 6 months to do your second one.
Yeah.
And that's basically what it was. But with Us and Them, it did give us our very first #1 alternative song, which was Save Me.